This week in the world of sports, Drake May and the New England Patriots take on Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks in a battle to become world champions. This is the Monday Report, starting now. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, February 9th, 2026, and this is the Monday Report. I'm your host, H. James K., and I'm officially 30 years old. Dear God in heaven, where did my 20s go? Either way, today we're going to be recapping the Super Bowl that took place yesterday, Super Bowl 60, between the aforementioned New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. All right, getting right into it. The Seattle Seahawks won their second ever Super Bowl by a score of 29-13, and boy, I was wrong about this game. I thought this game was going to be low scoring and ugly, and it was ugly, but it was not low scoring. So the Super Bowl MVP was Kenneth Walker, the running back for the Seattle Seahawks. He had 27 carries for 135 yards with 2 catches for 26 yards. He didn't have any touchdowns, which was interesting. I wouldn't have figured that. Excuse me. Seattle Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold went 19 of 38 for 202 yards with 1 touchdown. I thought Sam Darnold played very well in this game. I'm just going to start right there. I'll talk about Kenneth Walker in a sec, but I want to start really with Sam Darnold. So he wasn't super flashy, and he wasn't super efficient, and he didn't have a lot of yards, but he did do something that was important. He didn't turn the ball over. This is a man who led the league in turnovers in 2025. So for him to play within himself and to keep things moving and not make any crippling mistakes, and the Patriots were looking for him. They were jumping in front of everything they could get their hands on. They tried so hard to get a ball from Darnold, and they just never could. And he did well moving around in the pocket. He was managing the pocket and kind of, the traffic really, really well. And I thought he played really well for what the game was requiring of him. Now, Kenneth Walker, he was the real beast. Dude was an animal. So he had 94 yards rushing in the first half on 10 carries. He finished the day with 135 on the ground, plus 2 catches for 26 yards. So if you had told me, I knew, I said last week that, Kenneth Walker would have to play a role because if they could run the ball, they could win, and that's exactly what happened. But I didn't expect him to have like a Super Bowl, like he had like the second most rushing yards by a single player in the first half of a Super Bowl ever. Second all time. He had 94 yards, which is ridiculous. I would have been like, man, he had a good game. A good game. It sounded like I was from New Zealand. Sorry. I would have been like, he had a good game if he had gotten 94 yards in the game, let alone in the first half. So his performance, which was 161 total yards, was just, he was obviously the Super Bowl MVP, and I thought he played really, really well. It was a lot of tough running. Now, admittedly, it is glaringly obvious that he's bad at pass blocking and he doesn't really catch real well because there were a lot of opportunities that he just missed. And, but at this point in his career, that is what it is. But you take the tough running, you take the good with the bad. Now, on the Patriots side, Drake May went 27 of 43 for 295 yards. Is that correct? Did he have 295 yards? I got to double check that because part of me thinks that's a typo. Did I make a mistake there? No, 295 yards. Wow, it didn't feel like it. That's what I'll say about that. So yeah, Drake May went 27 of 43 for 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He also had 5 carries for 37 yards and a fumble, and that fumble was returned for a touchdown. What can I say about this game? So it's bad when Drake May leads you in rushing with 37 yards. That's bad, ladies and gentlemen. And he got sacked 7 times. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was just, he was dodging haymakers and, all day. It was just and we'll talk about that later, but it was just there was never a moment for him to just settle into the game. And I don't even know what you can say, because it's just, he played poorly. He played really poorly. And yeah, he had 295 yards. That's majority of that is garbage time. When it really mattered, he had like 100 yards. So he's young. This is only his second year in the league, and he finished second in MVP voting. But we have to face the facts that Sam Darnold played very poorly in the playoffs. He did not have just a game where he was just running the offense and he was steady. Every game was just mountainous highs and just like, what are you doing kind of lows. So, excuse me. It just, and that comes with, and that consistency that he lacked, and the turnovers and the fumbles and the sacks, that come, you'll get rid of a lot of that with experience. So I hope he can get back, but I mean, I was hoping the Lions would ever get back to the NFC Championship game, and they just haven't. They haven't even gotten close. So it is what it is. Now, narratives. What I said were my narratives ahead of the game were: can Darnold rewrite his narrative for good? The answer is an emphatic yes. The days of people calling Sam Darnold a bust are over. That is done. Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. He went 28-2 in 2 regular seasons, the last 2 seasons, and now he's got an NFC Championship and a Super Bowl win. So if he retired right now, career complete, you've climbed the mountain, you've reached the highest mountain in the sport. You've done it. And yeah, it took him years and years, but he can claim something that no other quarterback from his draft class can. He was the first quarterback from the 2018 draft class to win a Super Bowl. Not Baker Mayfield, not Lamar Jackson, not Josh Allen, Sam Darnold. It took him a long time, and it was a winding road to get here. But at the end of the day, he realized his potential when it mattered the most, and he didn't make mistakes, and he has cemented his legacy. Sam Darnold is not the quarterback who's inept and sees ghosts, and everyone's waiting for him to go pumpkin mode. That narrative is done. It's been killed and buried. It is buried under a mountain of efficient play over the last 2 years, resulting in the biggest win of his life. So anyone who says that, he's not a good quarterback, you're fooling yourself. You're an idiot, because Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. Is he great? No. He led the league in turnovers in 2025, but he's not mediocre. People talked about him like they talk about Trent Dilfer and some of these guys who who's a really bad one? Yeah, man, I can tell I'm tired because I'm having trouble coming up with any names. Zach Wilson or guys like that. He's not one of those guys anymore. And I'm really happy for him. I wanted the Patriots to win just because I've kind of passively rooted for the Patriots for years. But I cannot deny that I am happy for I'm very happy for Sam Darnold. Now, I'm also happy for Mike Macdonald, because for those who know, Mike Macdonald was the Michigan defensive coordinator in 2021, so there is a certain amount of affinity for Mike Macdonald. Now, if you had told me that he'd win a Super Bowl before Jim Harbaugh, I don't know if I would have believed you, but here we are. I'm pretty sure he's, if not the youngest, he's probably the second youngest guy to ever win the game. So, that's quite the statement. The other narrative I said before the game was, can Drake May, is he ready for this game? And the answer is an emphatic no. He was not ready for the game. There was no being ready for this game, because what the Seattle defense was doing was incredible. They were disguising their looks on every play, and then right at the snap, they would jump into the real coverage. but the pass rush was so much that Drake May never really had a chance to sit back there and decipher what the coverage actually was. So Drake May was just chasing his tail all day. On top of the fact that he was dodging the pass rush and throwing interceptions and fumbling the ball. I mean, it was just, as games go, this was about as bad as it could be. He needed to be perfect. He needed to have no turnovers and limit the sacks. And what did he do? He turned it over 3 times and he got sacked 7 times. I mean, what can you say? That's horrific. That is a dreadful stat line. So he was not ready for the game. He was not ready for primetime. Now, last week, I said my keys to the game were, can Drake May play like he did in the regular season? No, he did not. He was not. He had the yardage, but he didn't have the yardage. Well, he did have the yardage, but he didn't have the efficiency. He didn't have the accuracy. He didn't have the deep balls, consistency. He had the sacks and the fumbles, but he had way more turnovers than he normally would, and he just wasn't on it. So no, he could not replicate his regular season play. And the other one was, can the Patriots defense make Sam Darnold see ghosts and revert to his previous form? Can they break the spell? No. The Patriots defense played well. I will talk about them later, but they could not break the Seahawks out of the kind of mojo that they've had since like week 7. They've just been like playing with their hair on fire for the last like 4 months, 3 or 4 months. So no, the Patriots defense couldn't, make them see ghosts and affect the outcome. I think the biggest sign of this game was the Patriots offensive line. So they struggled everywhere, but Will Campbell, their rookie left tackle, oh my word, he was dreadful. He got blown up and twisted around and ran by over and over. And every time Drake May dropped back to throw, the left side of his line was collapsing and he was having to either step in the pocket or run away, or throw a pick, or fumble, or get sacked. I mean, it's just every single time. So I thought they played poorly, but Will Campbell was horrendous. And he knows it. They all know it, but you can't talk about this game and leave that out. That is a vital part of this game because the Seattle defensive line was just relentless. And their linebackers they were playing Jedi mind tricks on the Patriots offense. These aren't the pass rushers that you're looking for. This isn't the coverage that you're looking for. And the Seattle Seahawks secondary was just relentless. They were so physical and so rough and so smothering that none of the Patriots' limited wide receiver talent had any answer for the Seahawks defense. They just had no answers. It was like, oh my God, I played my one card and I'm out of, it didn't work. What am I going to do now? They had no answers. We've done everything and we're all out of ideas. So the Seattle Seahawks defense was just really good. And I mean, that doesn't surprise me because Mike Macdonald, he basically invented what this 4-5 amoeba defense has become in the NFL. He very much, Wink Martindale technically invented it, but his version is very 2010s. It's very 3-4 defense and that kind of thing. But Mike Macdonald's version is very much a perfected version of the amoeba defense. And man, it is so that they play so well. Honestly, to make a college football analogy, it was like watching the Michigan defense. They just pulverize their opponents and just dismember their game plan and demoralize them and just take them out of it where they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. That's what the Seattle Seahawks defense did to the Patriots. By halftime, they were like, I don't want to be here, man. This is dumb. What are we doing here? Can we just go home? That they did that at halftime. So incredible performance from the defense. Now, the Patriots defense, they did their best. They played really, really well. I know the scoreboard doesn't bear that out, but they played really, really well. They were great inside the 25-yard line at like forcing field goals. Now, they did struggle mightily to stop the run, granted, but considering their offense went like 3 and out, 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 like in the second and third quarter, they had like probably 7 of them or 8 of them. I mean, what can you expect them to do? It's like, okay, buddy, I want you to go out there and you're going to box this guy, but you can't punch back, but all you can do is block punches. Don't get knocked out. I mean, yeah, you might be able to cover up and defend and protect yourself for 5, 6, 7 rounds, but by the time that 11th, that 9th round, 10th round, 12th round comes along, yeah, you're going to be battered. There's no way, if you can't punch back, you can't win. So without the Patriots offense, the defense, they did all that they could. If you gave them their exact performance, but the offense functioned, they could have won this game. Because the offense did not hold up their end of the bargain like the Patriots defense did. So, those are my final thoughts on the game. Now, I want to talk about some of the other stuff. Green Day played during the pregame, and I thought they were really good. They sounded like old school Green Day. A lot of energy, really got the crowd going. I really enjoyed that. It is interesting though, because I mean, it's like Green Day was an established band that had been around when I was in middle school. And that was a long time ago, like almost 20 years ago. We're getting to the point where I was about almost 20 years ago. So it's like they still got it. They don't do much anymore, but they still got it, and I bet they made a good chunk of change for that game. Now, the national anthem was played by, nope, let's talk about America the Beautiful first. Let's go in order. So, Brandi Carlile, the alternative musician, singer-songwriter, kind of one of those, she performed America the Beautiful. I didn't realize she had won like 11 Grammys. Good for her. She's really good. People should check out Brandi Carlile's music. Check her out. She's really good. She performed a really good kind of folksy rendition of America the Beautiful. And then Charlie Puth did the national anthem, and I thought he was really good. And it was there was a bit of a kind of a pseudo orchestra in the background while he was playing the piano. And it was just a really good, he didn't do anything too like frilly, he didn't try to really, go on any kind of runs. It was just really solid performance. And of course, the flyover was great. There was a couple of F-18s. There was at least one F-22, and there was a pair of B-1 Lancers, which such a cool bomber. They call it the Bone because it's the B-1, but its name is technically the Lancer, and it's one of their strategic bombers. Great, beautiful aircraft. So I thought the flyover was really good. Now let's talk about Bad Bunny. Foregoing the politics, because we don't do that on this podcast. We're not about that. Man, talking in this mic, my voice was going away. But Bad Bunny, when it was told that he was going to do it all in Spanish, I was like, that's going to be dumb. And it was. But the production design was incredible. The staging, the choreography, the camera work, the effects, all of it. The costumes, I mean, it was like they just created a sugarcane field in the middle of the stadium. From that perspective, it was really impressive. On the other hand, the fact that it was entirely in the Puerto Rican version of Spanish, really bad choice. I'm sorry. In America, the overwhelming majority of the audience speaks English. I don't know a word of Spanish, so it was just like, blah 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 for like 15 minutes, just gobbledygook. And who knows? He could have made a political statement. I have no idea, and I'll never know because I'm not going to look up a translation of everything he said. So it was lost on me. I mean, it was kind of neat when Lady Gaga came out briefly and played Die With a Smile. That was cool. And it was cool seeing Ricky Martin for the first time in 1,000 years. But, I mean, I guess Bad Bunny is just not my kind of music. And for those who really like Bad Bunny, it was probably really good, but man, it, it was the least enjoyment I've gotten out of what looked like a good quality Super Bowl halftime show in a long, 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 long time. Just bad. Bad, 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 bad. Now, lastly, you can't talk about the Super Bowl if you don't talk about commercials. So I'm going to talk about some of my favorite commercials. My absolute favorite commercial was the Uber Eats commercial with Matthew McConaughey and Bradley Cooper. That one made me laugh so hard, where he's pointing out all these things, and he points out the fact that the Pro Football Hall of Fame looks like a juicer. And then they the very end of the commercial, Bradley Cooper says, I know we got beef, but I want to squash this. And Matt McConaughey just says, beef is food, and so is squash. And then Bradley Cooper just says, you son of a, and it just ends. I thought that was so funny. Ugh, I love Super Bowl commercials. I enjoyed the commercials more than the game. And another great one was the Goodwill Dunkin', which was like this bizarre, like strange Dunkin' Donuts Goodwill Hunting thing with Ben Affleck and Matt LeBlanc and, oh gosh, Jennifer Aniston. And I mean, it was just, I can't even explain what it was about. It was just, you just go find it. Goodwill Dunkin'. It was the most bizarre commercial I've ever seen. It was so weird. Another great one was the State Farm commercial with Danny McBride, Keegan-Michael Key, and Haley Steinfeld, where they're trying to sing a version of Living on a Prayer. Oh my god, it was so funny. And it's like every time they're trying to sing and then they get cut off, and Haley Steinfeld, who's as beautiful as ever, is just asking questions like, so you're not like State Farm? And why can't you just do this? It was really funny. It was hilarious. Another one that was really underrated was Emma Stone's one for Squarespace, where, don't lose your domain. And it's her in like stark black and white with this really dramatic music and really, highbrow cinematography, trying to get her emmastone.com domain name, only to, God, I'm fighting off a sneeze, only to continually lose it and freak out and break the tablet or laptop that she that she was using. It was really funny. The Pepsi polar bears. So what a miscalculation from Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola insists upon all of these AI generated commercials which don't look good and are really freaking obvious, and people have kind of lost interest in the Coca-Cola commercials. So then you have Pepsi come out with a commercial where the Coca-Cola polar bears, they're really not, but they totally are, do the Pepsi challenge. Instead of picking Coke, pick Pepsi, and have like an existential crisis involving therapists. And so one of them just kind of offers a Pepsi, like, just go with it, dude. It was hilarious. It was so smart. And it's like such an own goal from Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola wasn't there this year. Usually they've got something, Budweiser was there with a good commercial, a horse and a baby eagle and all that. That was a really good one, but Coca-Cola just was missing. Another really bizarre one was Ben Stiller and Instacart, where it's like this like 70s concert where he's trying to sing and he keeps getting one-upped. So then he like jumps he like jumps off of this like 20-foot stage, like backflips and just bails hard. It was really fun. It was so funny. And one final one that I enjoyed was a Cadillac Formula One team unveiled their livery. Look it up. It's like silver on one side and it's black on the other with kind of alternating. It's the same scheme, design, but the colors kind of alternate. And they got like the kind of script Cadillac, and it's got TWG on the side. It looks really, really, really good for all of you motorsports fans out there. So the one thing I didn't like was all of the AI commercials. Oh my gosh. AI, there is such an AI bubble right now. And this AI bubble is when it bursts, it's going to be bad. Like, bad. Because, like, OpenAI, they've never posted a profit. They're worth $5 trillion. They don't make money. And yet they're valued at $5 trillion. That makes no sense. So, like, all of these AI companies, work smarter, not harder, take the day off. It's like, I'm sorry, there is value in hard work. There is value in trying and learning skills and executing those skills to a good degree, because just saying, hey, make this into a PowerPoint for me, click, that doesn't build skill. That's just, if at that point, why don't we just make robots do all the work in the world and humans can just sit at home and eat crap food and watch TV? Because at this point, if we just let AI kind of replace everything and be reliant on it, what does that do to the human condition? So I hated all of the AI commercials. Claude and, good God, the OpenAI, and there were so many. And I just really I oppose it, to be honest with you, just flat out. I have no problem with, like, generative AI to do, like, to generate, hey, make me an image of a mountain with a panda on it. I don't care about that stuff. That's fine. But using AI to, like, generate text or make PowerPoints, no. Now, doing it to, like, hey, is this sentence structured correctly? That's fine. That's using it as a tool for your own work. But if you're just saying, hey, write me an 80,000 word book about spies on the planet Venus, I mean, that's not skill, that's not achievement. So I hated all the AI commercials. Sorry, that's my AI rant for the year. But yeah, Super Bowl commercials were great. It was so weird that this thing came on my birthday. That was so weird. Of all the years for the Lions to make the Super Bowl, this would have been it. But they didn't. So it was weird, kind of like pseudo celebrating my birthday and watching a really crappy Super Bowl with some really great commercials and a really bad halftime show. So, but it was a good evening. So I'm, before I end, I have decided that I'm going to make some more changes to my podcast. So over the last probably 5 months, you've kind of seen it evolve where I introduced, like, quick hits and I was doing multiple subjects and all this. I'm going away from that because, to be quite honest with you, it's so labor intensive, considering I have other things that I do most days of the week, that I'm enjoying making my podcast less, like significantly less. Going, like, every day for the last 5 weeks, it's been, I got to record tonight, that kind of thing. So from now on, I'm just going to go back to single subject. Quick hits that's going to be a college football roundup thing, in the fall, if I go back to college football roundup. But yeah, single subject, that's definitely, we're going to kind of fit in that lane, which means some episodes will be 20 minutes, some of them will be an hour, whatever that ends up being. For me, it's better for me if that's the way it is. What else? Yeah, this is next week my podcast will be about a year old, right about there. It'll be a couple of days early, but man, it's been a crazy year. This will be episode 69. Nice. I'm sorry, that's just some brain rot from my generation, but no, but it's been incredible after a year, and I'm going to make some changes. Another thing is I'm going to rename my YouTube channel. It's still going to be, the Monday Report with H. James K isn't changing, but the YouTube channel is going to be called just H. James K. That way I can post YouTube videos talking about, my book, because I am writing a kind of a spy thriller right now. And I'm going to want to post some stuff about that on my YouTube channel and spread the word and all that. So I'm going to rename the YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel is going to be called H. James K. That's going to be the YouTube channel now. And the logo isn't changing right now, but I'm going to come up with a new logo for the channel. But the podcast logo is staying the same, and the podcast name is staying the same, and it's not going anywhere. All right. So, for those of you listening on Apple Podcasts and everywhere else that podcasts are available, thank you. For those of you watching on YouTube, please consider leaving a comment to feed the algorithm. Hit the notification bell to get notifications. My name is H. James K. Thank y'all for tuning in. Until next time.